KTTC, Television 10, Rochester.
And a good afternoon. Welcome to News Watch at noon, halfway through the week.
Yes, and
Good afternoon. This is the last day of 1984, and that means there will be quite a bit of parties happening tonight to welcome in the new year.
good afternoon. Artificial heart patient Jack Burcham is still experiencing some bleeding after problems following his implant operation yesterday, and there's a chance he may go back into surgery today.
This is next.
A cruise ship explosion takes at least 4 crew member lives, while the blast sends some passengers overboard. And on this Memorial Weekend, 2 brothers reflect on the military bond their family shares. The news is next.
Live from the news leader, this is the KTTC NewsCenter at 10.
Good evening, I'm Jess Abrahamson. Memorial Weekend is a time for memories. Tonight, we begin with the military bond 2 brothers share. As NewsCenter's Asha Zamuda tells us, it's a bond that took on special significance today.
The KTTC NewsCenter continues with Jess Abrahamson, your precision forecast with Ken Quattrin, and sports with Joe Seipel. The people you know, the news you trust. Here is your precision forecast.
Welcome back, everybody, on this beautiful Sunday evening. Nice sunset there. We got just a few thin high clouds through the area. No rain anywhere close to home tonight. And great news, we don't have any more on tap for you. There, give the whole forecast away right there, at least for tomorrow. Now, we do have clear skies outside right now. Very nice night underway.
Now, a look at tonight's sports.
The Minnesota Twins are officially back on track. After a slow start, they have reclaimed their spot atop the American League Central standings. Today marks the rubber match of a 3-game series with the Mariners. To Safeco Field in Seattle. What a great place for a ball game.
Live from KTTC NewsCenter at 6, the area's most watched evening news starts now.
He died in the Vietnam War, and for years his name was on panel 15, line 126 of the Vietnam Wall in Washington. Well, tonight the remains of Benjamin Franklin Danielson are finally at home in Kenyon. That's our top story tonight. Thank you for joining us. It was an emotional morning for a local family.
Decades after Major Ben Danielson took off to fly during what some consider a controversial war.
The KTTC NewsCenter continues with Tom Overly and Betsy Singer. Your precision forecast with Randy Brock, and sports with Pat Lund. The people you know, the news you trust.
More and more people are spending money that they simply do not have.
A whole lot of sunshine here for us on this Thursday from start to finish, and we'll have clear sky overnight. It was a cold start to the day. Temperatures in the upper 30s, but there were some patches of frost to start the day. We will not have that frost here as we make our
NewsCenter weather, sponsored by Lewiston Auto.
Good evening and welcome to the RCTC Softball Complex, the site of this year's Junior College National Championships in women's softball. We'll get to the tournament here in a bit, but boy, the Twins are really struggling, and they wrapped up their three-game set in Cleveland with a loss, so the Tribe comes out with a sweep, and it was a pitcher's duel score.
Live from KTTC NewsCenter at 10, the area's most watched late news starts now.
From Mason City to Red Wing, a lot of people are breathing a big sigh of relief tonight following a day of potentially wicked weather.
But today's storms did not stop one woman from going about her business at a Rochester bank.
And a man becomes a hapless victim to a raid on a suspected meth lab. We have all of these for you in tonight's top stories. First, we want to start, though, with that bank robbery. It happened in broad daylight in the south part of Rochester.
It was a bold attempt at getting some free cash, which ended rather quickly late this afternoon.
Live from KTTC, the area's most watched afternoon news. This is NewsCenter at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Francisco Almenard-Moore. Shannon Russo is off today. After making landfall Friday night as a Category 4 hurricane, Harvey has now stalled over the Texas coast and is setting up for what could be a catastrophic flooding event, with some places getting more than 30 inches of rain over the next several days. Houston officials say more than 20 inches of rain has already fallen over the area, forcing road closures and flight cancellations.
Live from KTTC, the area's most watched evening news. This is NewsCenter at 6.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. A red flag warning has been up all afternoon. We've been on high alert for grass fires and field fires, and for good reason.
Volunteer firefighters have been scrambling southeast of Kenyon, west of Glenville, near Dover and Iota, and now near Hammond tonight. That's where we find NewsCenter's Mike Sullivan live, not far from one of the toughest field.
Live from KTTC, this is NewsCenter Today.
Good morning. Today is Monday, October 14th, 2019. I'm Byron Tollefson.
Live from KTTC, your weather authority. This is KTTC News Today.
Good morning. Today is Wednesday, December 18th, 2019. I'm Byron Tollefson. In the news this morning, a huge development in court as the woman who killed her husband and took another woman's identity is sentenced to life in prison.
KTTC NewsCenter Today continues with Jess Abrahamson, Jacob Murphy, and meteorologist Ted Schmidt.
Good morning. You're watching NewsCenter Today. I'm Jacob Murphy.
And I'm Jess Abrahamson. Good morning. Coming up, the coldest wind chills of the millennium are here. Brutal temperatures not to mess around with.
KTTC, your weather authority, with Jess Abrahamson, Byron Tollefson, and meteorologist Ted Schmidt. KTTC News Today continues.
Good morning. You're watching KTTC News Today. I'm Byron Tollefson.
And I'm Jess Abrahamson. Good morning. Coming up, while restaurants remain closed, you can still get food.
Live from KTTC, your weather authority, this is KTTC News at Noon.
Just ahead, that new leadership for DMC, the Destination Medical Center Corporation Board, about to have a new member. Plus, we're going to tell you about an effort to end lunch shaming in Rochester schools.
Coming up on KTTC News at 5, after months of work, a new look at a popular public tennis venue in Rochester. Plus, an update from Capitol Hill, a formal impeachment inquiry from the Speaker of the House. And an update from the Rochester Library on its plans for opening after a water leak forced a 3-day closure. Your 5 o'clock news starts now.
Live from KTTC, this is NewsCenter at 5.
Thanks for joining us this afternoon. I'm Vivian Williams, in for Caitlin Alexander. We'll get 5 o'clock news starts now.
Live from KTTC, your weather authority, this is KTTC News at 5.
Thanks for joining us. President Donald Trump's impeachment is in the record books, but the process is not over.
Live from KTTC, this is NewsCenter at 6.
Thanks for joining us. The day started off picture perfect, but then the threat of severe weather started to loom this afternoon.
Live from KTTC, your weather authority, this is KTTC News at 6.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Caitlin Alexander. Tom is off tonight. We begin with breaking news. Rochester police are investigating a deadly crash along 65th Street Northwest at the Bandel Road intersection.
Live from KTTC, this is NewsCenter at 10.
Thanks for due to a special event at a brewery in Rochester.
Live from your local news leader, this is KTTC News.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Kelsey Marrier. We begin this morning with police in Zumbrota looking for help finding a missing teen. They say he is believed to be in the Rochester area.
Live from your local news leader, this is KTTC News.
Good afternoon, I'm Jess Abrahamson. First today at noon, they are calling it a once-in-3-generations investment. Some historic plans are in the works for downtown Rochester, and this is all spearheaded by Mayo Clinic.
Thanks for joining us today on Midwest Access. Hope you're having a great day. I'm your host, Cammie Raisler. We've been doing Midwest Access since September of last year. We've been introduced to hundreds of great people, and we've got to check out so many fun events. So today we're going to share some of those with you. We're taking a look back at our time here on Midwest Access.
Live from your local news leader, this is KTTC News.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Megan Zempel. First at 5, the Owatonna.
Live from your local news leader, this is KTTC News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us here on KTTC News at 6. I'm Cammie Raisler. Tom and Caitlin are on assignment. Residents of the Rochester Towers are learning today that they will not be able to return to their apartments for at least another month.
Live from your local news leader, this is KTTC News.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Megan Zempel. First tonight, the Owatonna Police Department has arrested one person in connection to the homicide investigation of Sabrina Schnorr.
KTTC Television 10, Rochester.
I'm Jacob Murphy. Thanks for watching KTTC.